is exciting.
This is
Okay, play
exciting.
it.
Okay, we are live right now. Um, Welcome everybody to my Twitch stream with Mako. I'm excited to be here this morning. I usually stream in the evening, so like it feels weird that I just ate my breakfast and here I am streaming. This is so fun. And I see in the chat people are from all over the place. I've seen so in the chat, tell me where you're watching from. Oh, everyone's freaking out. They're saying, "Hi, Mako."
This is so cool. Hey guys.
Let's see. We've got people from Europe. We got people from Austria, from Nashville, Denmark, Germany, Missouri. Oh my goodness, Missouri, what up? Germany, Mexico, Hungary, Budapest, Croatia, Argentina, Turkey. I can't keep up. New Jersey, Finland, New York. Anyways, all over the place. Wisconsin, Washington, Oklahoma, California, right where I sit. Thank you so much, Colorado. Okay, thank you guys for joining. It's fun to see people from all over the world, especially since we cannot at this time go see you in your parts of the world. So thanks for joining. And for those of you who have been living under a rock on my social media, I want to introduce Mako to you guys. So welcome,
Hello.
Mako.
Good morning, everybody, or good evening if you're in Europe. You're a professional video game streamer now, Lindsay. How crazy is this?
I am like I'm not even joking. My little setup over here, when I go to different screens, it like has cool effects that happen. Hold on. Just for kicks and giggles, watch this, everybody. If I'm like, we'll be right back. Whoa! And
Wait,
then
I wasn't watching the stream. I was watching.
you're,
Oh
you're
wow,
watching
that's
the
actually
Zoom.
really sick. Oh, that's so
Now we're gonna
cool.
go back to Zoom. Whoa!
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I was pretty excited about that.
I remember like a couple months ago when you were like, I'm thinking about poking around on this, and now you have just straight up graphic design game going.
Exactly. I have even my own little emojis. Show my emojis, you guys. My little Lindsay emojis. So for anyone that is subscribing, just anyone, you can get these cute little Lindsay emojis, which are quite fun. So, oh, there they come. There they come. Oh, there they are. They're happy. They're holding hearts. They're playing violins. It's great.
Oh, I told you about this too. I had so much fun getting into Discord this past year, and our thing is
Yeah.
just littered with emotes. They'll just take anything, like my face from anything, and make it an emote. It's very dangerous, but it's actually really cool.
I was gonna say, like, do you sometimes see some that you're like, and I have to figure out how to destroy that one?
Oh yeah, there's just my face in the worst possible, ugliest faces ever, and then those just plastered everywhere. It's amazing.
Oh, I remember. I feel like, oh my gosh, the emojis are flying right now. I feel like my fans went through a phase where they loved, and you guys don't do this as much anymore. You still do it sometimes, but this is not my way of telling you to do it more. But there was like a phase where I swear they loved finding terrible screenshots of me and like just posting them and saying ha ha ha, like they thought it was the best thing ever. And I was like, my self-esteem can handle this, it's fine. But it was always like the worst screenshots. And
What do they call that? Like the Streisand effect or something? Like if you try and get something taken off the internet, then it will only like multiply by infinity.
exactly, so you have to just be like ha ha, that's hilarious, everyone.
Right? Play along with it as you cry and just die
I
inside.
love
This is my favorite.
it. Wait, why is it the Streisand effect? Is it
I
from
think it was something with Barbara Streisand trying to get something taken off. I could be totally misrepresenting this, but it was like she was trying to get her publicist to take something off the internet. And of course, then the internet just goes nuts.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
you just gotta like grin and bear it and like applaud it almost. That's
So,
hilarious. Poor Barbara Streisand. She
I
didn't
know. Let's
know.
get her on Twitch. Let's get her on the stream. Let's see
Let's
how she's
get
doing.
Yeah, that's a hard recovery from something like that.
She'll be all right.
Yes. Um, so what's going on? Give us a quick recap of your life. How are you doing? How are you handling the hopefully tail end of COVID
Yeah,
land?
yeah, trying to get that vaccine life going. I keep checking out the CVS every day, but the little you're vaccinated, right?
I'm a double.
That oh yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, like the queue line is pretty big for it or whatever. But yeah, things are going great.
Yeah.
I'm here not so far away from you in North Hollywood at my studio, just working. I'm doing a lot of film scoring these days, so that's why people haven't heard from me much. But just so freaking excited for our video today, especially like with you. Everything we've done, it's been like, oh man, you send me this video because it was finished like a month ago or whatever, and then I have to sit on this thing that I love so much, but we can't like talk about it or share it yet. It's so hard to
Yeah.
do.
I know it's always like Christmas morning to me. I describe it when I get to release a video because yeah, it's like we filmed it like over a month ago. And then yeah, you just have to like anticipate it and all the anticipation builds up and then you finally release it and it feels to me like Christmas morning
It's
as a
like your
child.
birthday, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody from your life will reach out to you. It's actually really nice when you release like track release day. I can't
Yes.
ever get anything done because I'm just on the internet the whole day because it's so exciting reading all the comments. But you
Yeah.
just, you hear from people from your life that are just like, oh my God, I saw this thing, great job or whatever. And it's just like really nice.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, release days a lot of times, yeah. And I consider it like my reward for all the hard work and all this and that. I'm like, now today I just get to like, yeah, read the comments and respond back to people and enjoy. And I will say I have really I think probably more than ever appreciated the comments from fans and you guys because now since I can't tour, I can't feel that energy live. And so I don't think you guys realize how much your commentary, how much your posts means to us as artists because like seriously, or your reaction videos. Sometimes at night when I miss touring, I'll watch a reaction video just to like feel a little bit connected to you guys. So we appreciate you
It's
guys
wild too
so
because
much.
you know your fan base, Lindsay, but this is sort of my first exposure to like your community and your fan base. And for me on the outside, it was so powerful, like hearing everybody's stories, especially with this song too, and
Mm-hmm.
what it meant, and just hearing people talk about what this song meant to them, and then just stories about their own life. And I haven't been, exposed to an audience of that size before, and I'm just like, most of them are just tagging you, and I'm just reading through them, and it's really special. Like it's super cool, what you put together with this, and I'm really proud of these two videos we've done for it too.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it has been such a sweet experience to release something that allowed people the opportunity to like dive into themselves and and share their stories. And I feel like it was like a very I think there's different layers of healing, and for me, I've worked on healing from grief for years now, and this was just like an extra layer because I got to heal through art with other people as they shared their stories. And we got to like, like some of their stories brought me to tears. Many of them did. And, it just was like another layer of healing that I got to experience with other people. And I think that's what made it so powerful. But I do have some questions here that
Oh,
fans, if you guys have questions also, you can put them in the chat as well. But these were ones that were sent in to my Instagram yesterday, on my Instagram story. So Shanna, I guess her screen name is at Willow's End. Yeah, Willow's End. She asked, how long did it take you to come up with the lyrics? And so many of you may not know this, but Mako actually wrote all the lyrics to Lose You Now. He took the instrumental version of the song that I had created, and I actually didn't even know he was working on it until he sent it to me. And anyways, so I'll stop with that. But how long did it take you? Because I actually don't even know.
it was really fast. Yeah, I'll sort of like recap that whole experience because we got to work together on your album Artemis. Love Goes On and On. Obviously, we got to work with Amy Lee, which was like super freaking cool. And so we had like developed a relationship and a friendship at that point. So we were just hanging out post Artemis. And then through our sort of management circles, like I just heard, hey, Lindsay's really looking for a vocal for Guardian. And this is what it's about. And I knew all this stuff because you and I had talked about it too. So I knew the fabric of the song. And I explained this, when we first released it, but it's like sometimes with creativity, you're just like fighting through it and trying to find inspiration. And
Yes.
sometimes the floodgates just open wide and everything pours through. And I've never written a song probably as fast as I wrote this one, just because I felt so connected to it. I felt connected to you and to the story and to the material. And it was just kind of like one of those weird things where I couldn't even catch up with like the writing. It was just happening on its own. And it was really special also because my youngest brother started working over at your management company. So I was like sending it to him really excitedly too. And it was just like my family's involved in it. And then we're working with you. And it was just like a really, really special experience of putting a thing together. And the great thing about like a song that you write and that you promote is that you get to live in it. It's like promoting a film or something. You get to live in this song and make acoustic videos and all these things. So it's been something that like has kind of like been in my life for the last year, Lose You Now. And it's just like really lovely. And I still, listening back to it is really special for me because it brings me back to those memories of writing it here in my studio, sharing it with you. It was like a big, exciting thing when we're like, we have this song. Okay, what's Lindsey gonna think? Like, when do we play it for her? Like, we want to make sure that we play it for her. Like, I think it was like in your car at night or something like that.
Yes, it was super late at night. I had just had a really late fitting for something, and so I was pretty tired. And my manager was like, "Hey, Linz, like, want to show you something real quick. So just like, can you come in my car?" And I was like, "What could it be?" You know? And I just started bawling when I heard it. Like, I just lost it. And then here it is. It was like 12:30 at night, and you know, and after I'd listened to it, we listened to it like 2 or 3 times. Then I got in my car and kept listening to it, and I was like, I don't care how late it is, I have to call him right now. And so I literally called you at like almost 1 in the morning. It was like, I just have to tell you what that meant to me, and it was so amazingly beautiful. So and what a cool experience. I always consider it such an amazing gift when creativity flows like what you described, because like you said, it's very rare. Like, I think a lot of people assume that artists and writers, that we're just prolific and that like ideas are constantly flowing out of us. But for at least for myself, I really have to work for a lot of those ideas, and they don't just flow. And so whenever I have had those experiences where you feel that like download of creativity, it's such a gift. And I can't help but think in those moments that this is coming from like, this is coming from somewhere else. This isn't coming from me, because that's not how it normally happens for, I think, most of us. So anyways, I just love hearing you tell that story.
And everything like freezes in your, it's weird when those experiences happen in your life. It's kind of like what you get up and make music for, is those weird, those like random times when it just all flows through you. But when that happens, like when we were working on this, my whole life just kind of went out of focus because it was like
Mm.
everything was about just making this one piece of music. And like that's such an electrifying experience.
Yes, absolutely. It's really exciting because you're just like, oh, something is happening here, and you get like so drawn in. And it's like you said, that's the reason that we do what we do, is for those moments. And
Absolutely.
you know, and it is fun to take a song through different layers of its life. First, you're like in that phase of writing it, then you're in the phase of like, okay, what music video should we make for it? And Zane asked, what made you want to release an acoustic version of the song? And so curious, like, what was it that made you excited about an acoustic version?
So I end up writing most of my songs at the piano anyway. I just find that like that's how like my best like vocal songs really come from just that piano thing. And so I always knew like from the very beginning, like we're gonna obviously need to produce this up. And also like we put it over Guardian too, which is like a very big electronic sort of track. And some songs it's like we don't need an acoustic thing, but this one from the very beginning was like, this is gonna happen. And then the guy that you brought in to write the piano and the string writing is
Oh,
what's his name? We got to shout him out because
oh,
he did such a great job.
Steven Anderson,
Yeah.
everybody. I have worked with, he did the arrangement and the string arranging and the piano for the acoustic version. And many of you have heard me talk about Steven before. And if you haven't, I've worked with him from the very beginning, since I did my Zelda medley, like back in 2012. I've worked with him for that long, and he's a genius. And anyways, so shout out to Steven Anderson. He's the man.
Yeah, he crushed it. And it was unlike a lot of other, like when I'll do, acoustic versions of songs, or even when I'm writing them, it's a lot more basic. I'm not a great pianist, but it's just like basic. But he
Yeah.
like, this thing just goes on a journey. I mean, it's like a Disney movie of
Yes.
of an acoustic piece. It's really, really special.
Yes. And you know, I feel like when a song can be done acoustically and still like
Hmm.
be great, that's when you know you have a great song. Because sometimes like great production can hide a song that's not that amazing. Like if you get an amazing producer to produce out something, like they can make anything sound good. But if you can strip everything away and it still like makes you want to sing and it makes you feel like, I think that's when you're like, ooh, this is a really good song. And I knew that about this song right away. You know. that yeah, it would be really special in a stripped down form. Okay, Azulio 13 2.
That's my favorite part of all this is just you pronouncing people's screen names.
Oh, it's so funny. I'm like dyslexic, and so I always get so stressed when I'm trying to like read these names. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher the name. Azulio132 asks, how did you meet Mako? So I always like hearing you tell the story of how we like very first met.
Oh yeah, I was like scrolling through my memory for a second. So we met years ago because I was brought in to Hans Zimmer's like complex at Remote Control, and he's like, I do a lot of film scoring, and he's like a god for all of us. He's just he's like a titan. Everybody knows him.
Oh, he's
But
the best.
he has this like amazing block wide complex in Santa Monica that's just all him and his film composing crew. And so I was brought in to just consult on something, and I can't remember the composer's name, but I just walked into a room, I'm meeting everybody, and there's Lindsey Stirling right there. It's just like, oh, hi. And here's the weird thing is that I kind of always assumed that we would eventually just connect just by osmosis, because I have like a classical background, and then I was making a lot of electronic music at the time. And it was just like, I was kind of doing exactly the same things you were doing. And I was like, I knew this was going to happen, but then I don't think we spoke again for probably a couple of years after that. And I don't remember how we reconnected. Do you?
Yes. Well, first of all, going back to that Hans Zimmer studio story, it was one of those weird things where I don't even know how I ended up in that room. I got called to
None of us know how we got there.
Well, it was one of those experiences where even when I was there, I was like, how did I, what is happening? Because they put me in a recording booth and they were having me just improv to orchestral music while watching a screen with a movie. And I remember being so uncomfortable and so nervous because I was like, all these men were just watching me improvise and recording it for a movie, like a possible movie. And so I think when I met you that day, I don't remember it because I think I was so embarrassed and just
I remember feeling so terrible for you too, because I knew what happened. I knew they threw you in this ridiculous situation. They wanted you to ad lib a Baroque cadenza, some crazy thing. It was almost like they didn't understand how it works. Here, go do your thing in this closeted room real fast.
And a song I'd never heard before.
Yeah.
It was if you gave me
so bad for you. Yeah. And I didn't know anybody either, so I couldn't do any. I was just quietly oh, this isn't gonna work, and I feel so bad for everyone involved right now.
So I probably met you with looking down, being hi, and left.
Right.
So we got reconnected though when I was working on my Christmas album, and I think we did an experiment for Once Upon a December. I was thinking about putting that on the Christmas album.
Okay.
But we ran out of time, and the album was due. So then we got put back together when I was working on Artemis, and I think that's when we really met, and it was we just clicked and became friends. And here's an interesting question that I liked. Let's see. It said, what was the thing you enjoyed most about working together? And this is from Angry PMC. So
I almost have to budget this in whenever we work, where we'll just end up talking for 2 hours before we even do anything, which is always really fun. Also because I just spend all my time alone in my recording studio. So just having a buddy over and just going to town on catching up, and then we'll end up talking about the world and philosophy. We'll just go for it. And that's probably one of the things I remember the most about the process was just us being chatty, so chatty. Right, and not working.
No, I remember that was probably my favorite thing, was we would just sit there and it felt so natural, and before you know it, you're oh my gosh, we've been here for 2 hours, we should probably record something.
And Luna's there running around my studio and everything.
Yes, you're probably eating oatmeal.
That's right, naturally. Of course.
I think every session, mid-session, you're I'm gonna get lunch, and you come back with a bowl of oatmeal. But also plain oatmeal, no flavor.
Plain oatmeal, nothing on it. Because and there's so much easier things to eat for lunch. And of course, I'm just making oatmeal and eating oatmeal in front of you like an idiot. But I don't know. I have a very like I'm just a creature of habit, so I'm just so used to it. I didn't even think about it. Like, oh no, this is normal. And you're like, what are you doing? I
I
was
was
like,
like,
oh,
I
you
think
want some?
one time I even brought you like blueberries and stevia. I was like, do you want to put something in there?
We don't do that. No,
And he
we go
said
plain.
he turned down my blueberries and stevia, so I put them in mine.
The real truth is coming out in this Twitch right now.
I am a pro at if anyone's
I'm
wondering.
gonna cry soon. Yeah, you're gonna get to the bottom of everything.
I'm a pro at oatmeal. Actually, have you ever had overnight oats?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm gonna send you some recipes for overnight oats. Your life's
Let's see.
about to
Has Twitch
change.
chat had overnight oats?
Okay.
That's the real question.
Oh, well, first of all, Lost Board says you turned down blueberries.
Okay, they know overnight oats. All right.
And then, oh my gosh, yes, overnight oats is Sassy Strassy. Ooh, these names are awesome, by the way.
Oh, that was me.
Figures. I actually am not surprised at all.
Yeah, sorry. I'm lighting up the Twitch chat.
Oatmeal, yogurt, and blueberries and mixed nuts. Okay, that sounds amazing. Yeah, so overnight oats are you make them the night before and you don't cook them. You just put them in the fridge and so all the flavors mix together and they're cold.
This is exciting.
It's like so good. I'm like getting really stoked about it. I'm like, oh, I need to make some more overnight oats. You put peanut butter in there. You can put protein powder if you're into that. You can do berries. You can do yogurt.
Does this just become a cooking show?
I did a Twitch cooking stream once and it was a hilarious disaster. Like I hadn't prepared enough. Like I'm not a good enough cook where I can't like super focus. Like I have to super focus if I'm like following a recipe. And so I was trying to chat while cooking. And anyways, I think I messed up every recipe I made. But maybe I'll try it again. Maybe I should do another cooking show, but with overnight oats, and you can be my guest.
Oh yeah, overnight. Okay, that's the next show.
The only problem is we'll have to wait for like 6 hours to like to try them.
It'll be a long show. It's okay.
Yeah, long stream. Are you guys down? Are you ready to join us for this? Oh, they're all excited. They said, "Do it, more cooking." Yes, wow, they liked my cooking show.
That's good.
So funny. Okay. Oh, hey, what's up? Yes. Oh, okay. That scared me. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, we have a visitor. Go on. No, you're good. That's my roommate Laura, everybody. You know Laura.
Yeah, what's up, Laura?
She came, I'd stolen her dog. She was like, "Is my dog in here?" Yes.
That's amazing.
I'm sorry, I kept her hostage. Okay, let's see. Also, I don't know if you've even seen, I want to pull up, we have some Lose You Now merch that I'm pretty stoked about. So, drum roll, fans have been asking for Lose You Now merch. So, here we go.
I want Lose You Now merch.
One of them. Pretty snazzy. I really like the like muted color scheme. I'm reaching for a butterfly. Very symbolic. And then the other one is like a dark black version of the same thing. But anyways, I was really excited about
that's amazing.
Having a Lose You Now t-shirt because I hadn't even thought of it, but fans asked for it multiple times. So I was like, you know what? Let's do this.
Have you done shirts for individual songs before?
I don't think so. I don't think
I have never done that. That's so cool.
Yeah, I've never done that before. So there they are, everybody. Pretty. Yeah, in the past, like I guess on tours we'll have like the album name. Mostly it's just the album name, but I don't think I've ever done a shirt. So this is my first, everybody, my first song merch.
This is exciting. I was gonna do a Lose You Now overnight oats sponsorship deal.
Reaching out to General Mills.
We'll work on it.
You know what's funny? I tried for years to get a cereal sponsorship because like I love cereal. I mean, I especially used to be like obsessed with cereal. I would eat it every night before bed. And so I remember trying for years. I like had this goal. I wanted to be like not just the sponsor. I wanted my face to be on a cereal box. And it's one of the
look at you now.
It's one of the dreams that never happened and I still lose sleep over it. So maybe I should move on to
your fallback, which is a world famous violin artist. We can't all reach our dreams, but you can get to the second one.
That and being, it's funny. I always wanted to be a waitress, and I could never get a job as a waitress. Another one of my dreams that never happened. Wait, can you think of any weird dreams that you're like, or just things you wanted to do that you're like, well, I didn't do that, but I became a full-time musician scoring films.
I just remember how psyched I was when I was like 5, when I realized you could be other things than a fireman, policeman, or a doctor. And I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, you're telling me I could be a baseball player? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, this changes everything.
Take down the fireman posters in your room.
Yeah.
You're just like, we're rethinking everything. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Especially since you really did think that that was it.
Oh yeah, somebody said astronaut. That was one of them too. It was like astronaut, fireman, policeman, because that's like they just show you just people at work when you're in kindergarten or whatever. And then I was like, oh man, I don't know which one I'm gonna pick. Like I'm not that jazzed about any of those, but you got to go with something.
That's amazing. You're like, well, if I have to be one of those things, it's only some of the most prestigious things ever.
Exactly. Yeah, when you grow up, you're like, oh, I should have been a doctor.
Yeah, you're like, dang it, which I don't want to be any of them.
Right.
That's hilarious. Okay, Prism Sterling, I asked how long did it take to shoot the music video? The acoustic music video, we just like flew through that. I mean, how long were we there?
You've got such an amazing team. Like it is a well-oiled machine. And I've been on, a fair amount of music video shoots, and it's always, I think this is like shooting in general is famous for like you sit there all day for like 6 hours while they're setting up lights and nothing's happening, and then you finally film or whatever. Your team is so good. We got to shout out Steven and everybody because like they just have, and Lindsey's directing all this stuff as well. So like I'm sure your fans all know about it by now, but like you're not just you're performing and then running over to the monitor, figuring out lighting, coming up with new shots. Like we shot through that little light that we had on the piano, and you're like, oh, the reflection off the piano lid, like go for it. It was really cool, but it was quick.
Yeah, we really got that done pretty quick. And yeah, shout out to Steven and Green Glow Films. That's his company. And gosh, at this point, they're like the only people I work with. I used to kind of work with a bunch of different people, and now I'm like, they're my peeps. Always work with them. So yeah, I think we filmed it in like probably 3 hours from like start to finish, I want to say.
We must have just ran through it like 6 or 7 times. Like it didn't feel like that much. And it was really fun too, because we had all our lovely quartet guys there. And I can't remember everybody's name, but like I was just chatting with them the whole time too. Like everybody on set was just such a nice vibe.
It was a nice vibe. It was just like, yeah, and that's what it comes down to, is if you can have like a good vibe and happy people on set, you're always going to come out with something good, And then I think for the Lose You Now, the original music video, we filmed that in a day. All videos have to be shot. Well, I mean, you have to do it in a 12-hour day or you pay overtime. So you better believe I always make sure my videos are shot in that 12-hour window. So that was shot in 12 hours downtown at like the coolest warehouse ever.
That was sick.
Yeah, it was pretty epic. Yeah, that was my favorite shot, I think, is the one with the water.
Me too.
So cool.
It's really cool. Well, because you guys were even able to show me on set, because for people that remember, like it's like these water tricklets going up slowly, and it's just like the magic of filming, where on set it's just somebody just like drizzling some water and everything happens really fast, and you're like, what was that? And they're able to play it back, like the idea, because we also had to speed up the track by like 3 times the speed, so it's like because then it'll crank down to slow motion, and then they reverse the footage so that the water droplets go up, and you're just like, oh well, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's like, I think one of the funniest things to me about, like, especially if you're shooting in super slow motion, is that it's so unepic in the moment. Like you said, you're playing the piano and there's like a little bit of water trickling and you're kind of like, what are they doing? Or the shot that I thought was the funniest was when I would jump and they were throwing all these toys, and it was literally just like,
that was my favorite part of the BTS that you posted, was like you thinking you could jump way higher and just being a little disappointed in yourself that you couldn't jump that high.
Right, because just a standing jump, like in my mind, I was like gonna go up, but yeah, it was just like, oh, that was it? Anyways, it always cracks me up how unepic a lot of this stuff is when you're in the moment, but you just know like, movie magic, it's gonna look amazing. You just have to like know that. Let's see. Oh, how does collaboration work get done in the pandemic these days? Now I know you have been doing a ton of collaborating through the pandemic, so I don't know if you want to speak to what your experience has been like writing or working with different artists.
Yeah, it's hard. Like obviously I haven't had a studio session in person the whole time. I got a chance to do one where we were like at a big or like we were so separated that it was like a singer 2 rooms over while I was in
Mm,
another room and a thing, and
wow.
that was even exciting. But it's a lot of this. It's a lot of like being on Zoom with somebody while they're in a booth across, the country. There's like, like how I guess it's Zoom popped up really big. It was Zoom yeah, that was what kind of like jumped into existence because of COVID. There's also been like technology in recording that's popped up. And
Yeah.
there's this one thing called audio movers that's really helpful. I'm not sure if you used it, but it's like a plugin you put on your thing and it high quality streams the audio coming from your music software in high fidelity, like very fast. So that
Yeah.
like we did a violin session in Taiwan. Um, Done stuff just with people in New York, and then just homies that are here that like we can't go meet up. But it's better than nothing, but it's not the same thing. There's just something about being in the room and talking and working together and like
Yes.
reacting in the moment that just like you lose a little bit of that. And I can't explain why, because we can still talk and hear each other, but it doesn't
Right.
feel the same. What's been your experience with it?
So I'm in the vast minority of I actually kind of like it better. And everyone's like, "What?" Because I mean, I know that you do miss out on like that vibe and that connection of being in the same room, but I don't know if it's maybe because sometimes I kind of psych myself out a little bit, especially if I'm working with like strangers that I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
and here I'm kind of put in this position of like, okay, play and like make something awesome. And I kind of love that in Zoom sessions while they're working, like this feeling of they're waiting for me to create something awesome isn't there. Because while they're working, I just put myself on mute, I record it, and then I can comp it and send them like 4 ideas before they're even done with the track. So they don't have to like wait for, I don't know. It's my own insecurity that I obviously need to get over. But for some
I know
reason,
exactly what you mean, Lindsay. I don't think it's your insecurity. I don't think you need to get over it, because I have the same thing you described when I'm doing like proper songwriting sessions, which is like no music exists and we need to start creating music.
yes.
And I'm not an improvisatory dude. Like I don't just ideas don't fly out of me. I need a little bit of privacy and like
Yeah.
just space to kind of like explore and figure out what I like. And then I'll collect what I like, just how you described with the violin riffs and everything that you do. And then I'll be able to bring it to somebody. I mean, for you and I, it's a lot easier because we're comfortable with each other. So I feel like you felt pretty comfortable just working out stuff as we were going. But
Totally.
if I'm working with somebody new, I don't want to like, it's almost like I don't want to air that side of myself in front of them. And I think that's okay. And as soon as I realized that, I started getting much better results, because I'd be like, just give me an idea, email it to me, let me fiddle with stuff. And when I have something I like, then we'll link up and start making music together. And I find
Yeah.
that like the results got better and I just felt a lot more comfortable. So I super relate to that.
Yeah. It's like just having that little bit of like, okay, I can give myself space to like do whatever I need to do. I know there's something kind of nice about that. And I feel like Zoom gives me that space.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But it will be nice to be able to like write in the room with people again. But it's pretty amazing though how much music is being made, and I'm like excited that I'm starting to write again. And I'm like, wow, it can happen, And gosh, in a few months, the music that is gonna come out from like the world is just
Yeah.
gonna be incredible because all these artists have been stuck inside making music for months.
It's also weird, like coming up with songs when you haven't been able to go live your life a bit as well. I don't know, like where you sort of get inspired, but when I'm writing like vocals, I really feel like I need to go live my life a little bit to have stories to tell. And when you're cooped up like this, it's a little tricky.
Yes, and I found that like I actually only recently started writing again, like, and I mean in the last month, because for all of the pandemic, I felt that. I was like, I'm so uninspired. Like I haven't been touring, I haven't been doing shows, I haven't been getting that kind of energy from the environment or the world. And so I was like, yeah, I'm just not inspired. And finally I just kind of forced myself to be like, well, whether you're inspired or not, it's time to just like
Yeah.
start. But I totally agree with you. It's hard when you're not getting that kind of stimulation from the environment and your world to then write about who knows what. Let's see. Okay, here's a fun question for you. It's from Lindsey is Brave Enough. If you could collaborate with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
You go first.
I'm gonna say, I mean, this might be dangerous to say, don't cancel me. Gosh, if I could work with Michael Jackson, like
Oh, shit.
that would probably be, I mean, gosh, I remember being so inspired by him as a kid. Like he's the one that inspired me to like move and dance and so I don't know. I just think his anyway, that'd probably be my.
That makes so much sense, and I never thought about that because you and I have never talked about Michael Jackson before.
Oh, he's so good. Like
I love that.
I remember like trying to learn all the moves to Beat It and Thriller. Like I mean, and I'm not alone. Many of our generation, I think, had those on VHS and like rewind them over and over again and like watch them, and I would like learn the whole dance for both of them. So yeah, one of my earliest inspirations for like a dancing performer was definitely MJ.
That rules. I think I must have told you this before, and my crew know this. But when I was in college, I used to play the French horn, and I didn't write music or anything like that. And this movie came out called How to Train Your Dragon, and the score by John Powell was so beautiful to me that it kind of was like this weird experience of like, I gotta go write music. I can't. I have to do what I have to do this now. Like that, it like sort of changed my life, and I was just
Wow.
like a college student sitting alone in a theater full of little kids watching this animated movie. So it's just like the most weird experience, just seeing kids distracted and not paying attention. And I'm like weeping. And I was just like, oh man, this is so rad. And now, I write songs and do a lot of other stuff. So I'm just like, man, if there's a way I can weasel my way into something that composer, John Powell, is doing, like write a song for a movie he's scoring or something like that. Like that's one of those like little goals that I got on my vision board that we'll see if we can make it happen.
Ooh, do you have a real vision board?
I don't actually, but I did get into Pinterest a little bit for stuff like this. Which was pretty sweet. And then I realized like my Pinterest was public and everybody was like seeing all the things that I was like doing. And I was like, oh, damn it.
That's amazing. I love that. You're like, oh, I don't want the world to know that I
Like, why is this just a page full of oatmeal pictures?
oatmeal and dragons. This is a very strange combo. That's amazing. Yeah, I know. I need to make a new vision board because I'm a very visual person, and I don't know. I'm such a believer in manifesting, and like I've actually started a new way of manifesting. I'll let you know how it works, but I've started, like, I've heard so many times people talk about that you should envision your like dreams as if they've already happened, and you should talk about them. If you're like in manifesting mode, you should talk about them as if they've already happened. And so every night I'll write down almost as if I'm making like because I do a gratitude journal every night. And then after doing the gratitude journal about the present, I'll almost write this gratitude journal about the future, but I say it as if it's happening. Like, I'm so excited about this that I'm working on, or I'm so excited that this happened. And so every night I now write the things I want to manifest as if they've already happened. And it's kind of interesting. So
Yeah, I had one experience like this when I was in high school where I just wanted to get into this one college so badly. And this was around that period where the book The Secret came out. I have no idea if people are like still into this or or people hate it or whatever. But my mom read it and was just like telling me about this thing. And it's exactly what you described. It's almost like acting like it's a foregone conclusion. It's just like a positive sort of energy thing. And I can't lie, like for the whole year, I just was like, I'm getting into this school. Like I'm just doing, and I was preparing like crazy. Like I was just anything I could do to be ready for this audition. I was like doing it. And it was so weird because I had, as a classical musician, instead of like sending in a college application, you just fly out there and audition for the school. And I auditioned at like, I don't know, like 10 schools. And I was so nervous at all of them because it's like terrifying. Like your admission is dependent on you with your instrument playing. And that school that I wanted so badly, I was just like so locked in. I was the first person of like hundreds of applicants, and I just nailed it. Like it was crazy because I had done all that mental prep. There's something about that, and I don't know what it is, but it really, really works. And I got in, and it was like really exciting, and it was just like, man, that's pretty powerful force. Just like positively putting out what you want, and still prepping for it. But it was cool.
Yeah, well, I think that the positive thoughts of like, oh, I've done this already, or I'm going to do this, like that positivity makes it almost easier to prep because like
Mhm.
yeah, it's like you can't just like believe it and not prepare for it, but by believing it so strongly, you're focusing on it, you're more likely to prepare because you believe you'll do it rather than like, oh, why should I even practice, like I'm probably not even gonna make it,
Yeah.
so I don't know, the whole point of like I love that concept of like The Secret, and I listened to a podcast the other day by the guy who wrote that book, and I was like, oh, I'm totally drinking this Kool-Aid, like everything he said. I was like, I believe so much in this, in the power of like visualization and of like positive reinforcement in your own mind. I think that it's I think sometimes we just have no idea how much we can do even within our own minds. So anyways, that's such a cool
Yeah.
story.
This just hits close to home. But for anybody else out there that like has things that they get nervous for, like public speaking, or in music we have lots of performances that are really nerve wracking. But anything like that, I had been working with this like sports psychologist in college, and he basically introduced this thing about like guided meditative like visualizations where you almost like work your mind through the entire experience, but like seeing it all as positive. So like as a performer, it was like the feeling of walking out and feeling the crowd being really excited for me, and hoping and just loving like the music I was making and just feeling great about performing. And you just walk through the whole thing, and your brain actually like holds on to that as if it's practice. Like he would do this
Yeah.
with athletes that were like, especially golfers and tennis players and swimmers, like solo athletes, where it's so much of a mind game. And just the act of like taking yourself through the performance and nailing it and just feeling great about it, your brain like holds on to that as almost like it's muscle memory. And it's a tool I still use to this day. Anytime I'm freaking out about something, I'll just sort of walk through it like that. And it really works for me.
No, for sure. And I think the first time that I gained a solid like, oh my gosh, there's something real in this was actually in high school when I was a cross country runner, or no, I was a cross country runner, but it was in track, and I wanted to like improve my 800 time by like a significant amount so that I could qualify for state in like the regional meet. Like I had one more shot to do it, and so for 2 weeks leading up to that meet, like I did exactly what you just described. I would imagine, because it's so important to put feeling with it, so I'd imagine the feeling as I was walking up to the blocks. I would imagine like looking over and seeing the other girls in their uniforms, and like and I just would imagine every second of the race with a stopwatch. So I'd be like, okay, I'm supposed to be at the 100-meter mark right now, I'm supposed to be at the 200 right now, and I visualized that for 2 weeks continuously. And then I remember being shocked when I crossed the finish line at the regional race and I got to the second the exact time that I had been imagining. And it just kind of makes sense because it's almost impossible to like physically practice something perfectly, but in your mind you can practice something perfectly, and you can do it over and over and over again, and in a way that like physically is a lot harder to do. So anyways, I'm like a huge believer in that, and I just think it's so cool. And I, like you said, I do that before tours and before all kinds of stuff because it allows you to feel a little more in control of like what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
So cool. Let's see some comments here. Can I
I was wondering if I saw your hair hanging routine.
Oh, did you see the hair hanging routine? That's all
Well,
I want to know.
I was there. We had something else at your house. I can't remember what it was when you were pressing for it.
Oh,
And like that was on because I walked up and it was like maybe it must have been something for Lose You Now that we were doing. And then meanwhile, like there's this whole rig and there's people there, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I didn't even know what hair hanging was. So like I remember like Lindsay Fishman showed me a video of it, and then you described the whole thing, and I was just blown away. Like at how lazy I am as an artist. Meanwhile, you're learning how to hang from your hair and like crying from the pain.
oh yes, that was the COVID test for Lose You Now, the music video.
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
But I remember I felt like I had to explain because my hair was still in that ring. And so you walked up and you're like, hi, and my hair's all slicked back in this like crazy ring. And I was like, well, yeah, hanging.
It's amazing.
I would say not one of the brightest things I've ever done, but.
Well, because I remember I was just like, okay, listening what it was. And then I'm like, why are you doing like I was just like, Lindsey, what are you doing? And then of course this is most of the things you do where it's like she's got a vision. I'm not quite sure what like all of this is about. And then you see the final product and you're like, yep, the whole time, like that this is gonna be sick. This is like the Christmas special was just like incredible. Just your own force of will, like I need to make this thing. And you just did. It's really cool.
Well, thank you. I look back on it and I'm like, yeah, why did I do that? I don't even know sometimes why I do the things I do. Let's see. Okay, here's another question from Deborah. She says, how do you motivate yourself to practice and write songs when it's hard?
Oh, wait, it looks like we've got a little bit of feedback going on here. I don't know, Twitch stream is getting a little crazy. It says Lindsey's echoing and Mako is clipping. Huh.
Do you have a pair of headphones?
Yeah, let me go ahead. Let me put these babies on.
You have those fancy headphones of yours.
Yeah, we got ones. Let me know if this is better for anybody.
Da 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 da. Okay, I think it stopped echoing.
Are we good at it? I wonder what it is. Oh, echo's gone.
Echo's gone. Okay.
Oh, sweet. All right. Yeah, might have just been this. All right, we got headphone gang going. We're
Yay.
Good. Thank you, Twitch chat. We solved it.
Thank you. Technical difficulties taken care of. So, okay, how do you motivate yourself to practice? Because I actually get this question a lot from fans. Or to write songs.
So, yeah, practicing is an interesting thing because, like, it's hard. It takes discipline. I learned this, like, as a French horn player, which is, like, practicing is not about doing the stuff you know. It's about doing the things you're really bad at. And it's so hard. And I struggle with it. Like, I'm trying to back into singing lessons. And it's like the lessons are great. But then in between practicing, it's just hard because I'm so busy and there's so much on. And I think about this a lot with my production is like, I want to get better and I don't feel like I'm getting better enough or I'm not increasing at the level that I want to. So you just got to like open up your own toolbox and be like, what's going on here? What's not working about this? What can I do? And sometimes you need to do like what looks like just like exercises. You're not making music. You're just working on the, like for you, it might be working on scales or all stuff like that. And that's just like getting the motor back in shape. And then other times it's just like, you know, using your community around you, like feedback with my colleagues and like that, like why isn't this working, and you know, just getting an outside perspective on it. But I don't think like needing to practice will ever end as long as you still want to get better.
Also, it's never going to get easier. It's not like you suddenly reach a certain point, you're like, this is so fun, practicing, I now love it. Like anything that's worth doing is going to be usually hard or a little bit difficult, and I think it's just like setting a new expectation for yourself. I know that that's important for me to realize, like, practicing isn't going to be the fun part of my job ever. It's not the fun part of playing the violin, you know, but it's when I reset that expectation. And also sometimes for me, it's just starting. If I can just start to practice, it's a lot easier to continue. It's sometimes just like getting my bows tightened, getting the sheet music out, and just starting. And then that sometimes is half the battle.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like still seeing people are saying the static. Yeah, I hope it's not too bad.
I don't think it's too bad. It's like just a little glitchy.
Can you hear what they're hearing?
Yeah, it's just a little glitchy every now and then, but I can still understand everything you are saying. So as long as you guys in the chat.
Yeah, should I I'm going to switch my Wi-Fi to a little better one and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, because I can still hear you. Okay, he'll be back in a second once his Wi-Fi switches.
Testing.
Test. Oh,
all right, can you hear me?
I can. You sound good so far. Well,
let's see if yeah.
It's fine. I mean, I can still everyone in the chat, you can still understand him. You can still hear. So let's just give him a break.
So sorry. This was my first Twitch stream and I ruined
no,
it.
it's okay.
Oh no.
I can hear you. Let's see. Luna, come here. Say hi. Come here. Oh, now she's being all shy. Okay. All right.
I want to see Luna.
Luna, come here. There we go, everybody. Here's Miss Luna.
Oh, there she is.
Our little princess. Hi. Oh, I don't know what I would do without this little lady. She is just my little best friend. Anyone that's questioning if you should possibly get a dog, I'm just here to tell you 1,000% you should get a dog.
We were talking about this because I'm having like weird visions these days of like, oh man, it'd be so nice like a pup behind me just in my little studio.
Yeah, were you thinking about getting a dachshund? Was that it?
Oh no, I had a dachshund and I'm thinking about getting like a border collie. But you know, the exercise and I'm lazy. It's just we got to figure out how to get that thing working. But
it's only going to help you. It'll help you get out multiple times a day because you have to take the dog out. It's great.
Well, yeah, I was asking you specifically because I was like, oh man, I love just the feeling of freedom. I can just go out all night or just go travel or whatever. And you were like, yeah, it's really not that hard. Like you think it's the deal to like work, you know, I still feel like you have a normal life with the dog, but then the second you get the dog, it's like, no, I don't know what I was freaking out about.
Pretty much. I was like, my life didn't really change that much. Maybe that says a lot about my life, but
yeah. I have a very boring life, so I think it'll be just fine. I'm not that exciting.
I'm like, I don't do crazy things. And I remember a few times it was nice almost to have the dog as an excuse, be like, I better go. I gotta get home to take my dog out. Like that's Lindsey style. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. By the way, I'm looking at the chat right now. So if someone says you should get a cat then. And a bar.
Yeah. Oh, I see. My buddy Jeremy from my Discord says I can't keep this alive, which is very true. I'm not keeping plants alive so well, so I probably shouldn't deal with like an actual living animal.
Well, okay, I can't keep a plant alive either. There was like a fiddly fig over here a little bit ago, and there's all these like crispy plants around my house because because they can't talk to me. They can't tell me that they need to go outside or that they need water. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, write them in the chat. Someone asked, let's see, Mary P92 says, are you taking Mako with you on tour? And the answer is yes, that is the plan.
Let's go.
Let's do this. We're just waiting to get the final go ahead of if tour is going to happen. And last I talked with my agents, I'm not allowed to say this, but I got news that it's looking really good and that it's most likely going to happen in some shape or form. Like they seemed pretty confident. And they made me promise.
What a crazy experience. Like we thought we'd be on tour last summer. Like how crazy is all this?
I know. Oh, but it's going to be so amazing when we all get to be there together. And like, I can't wait to go to shows. I can't wait to perform at shows. Like it's going to be so incredible. So yes, we will be on tour together this summer in some shape or form. Not legally allowed to say that. Sorry. Sorry, Doug and David. They swore me to secrecy. I'm the worst.
Oh, no.
Don't tell me secrets ever. Just FYI. It's funny. I can keep other people's secrets. I cannot keep my own. I cannot.
Hard.
It's really
That's the tough thing about like right now I've been working on this project for like 2 years that I can't talk about, and it's so frustrating because it's like I'm so excited about this thing. It was almost like our videos and we can't talk about them yet, where it's just like, oh, I can't tell anybody what I'm doing, and this is all I'm doing all day. So now I just disappear from for a while.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, what am I supposed to talk about? Like, this is what I do all day, every day.
That's why we're talking about oatmeal.
Exactly. Which I'm now like I'm actually craving oatmeal. I think I will probably make some oatmeal when I'm done with this. So thank you.
Of course, you're welcome.
And I actually am going to do a Twitch stream of making multiple flavors of overnight oats sometime soon. So next time,
everyone needs to know.
We all need to know. We need to know what the best recipes are. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions that you guys have been asking.
I hope people love the video. I did.
Oh yeah.
I haven't looked at like the response yet. Like, were people taking it?
I don't know because I was too busy setting up this stream because Lindsay Fishman is out of town and she usually helps
Yeah.
me. So I was like trying to dial in everything, and
Aw.
Twitch is actually much more complicated than you would imagine. Like the
Yeah, it's pretty
software,
amazing what you set up.
like I'm really proud of myself that it's working today. So those are pats on the back right there. Um wow, people are really excited about a cooking stream. So you should come over sometime and we should cook. Let's see. I saw a question that said, "Oh, comic book. It should be going to print. Jess, shouldn't it be going to print in like next week?"
Yeah.
And I mean that. I know that people keep asking me, and I keep being like, "Oh, in a week or two, we're going to print." But like, really, we've got the cover done, finalized all of the artwork. It's done. So now
Amazing.
it is going to print next week. So I'm so sorry for that huge delay, but issue 5 will come much faster because it's also almost done. So anyways, stay tuned for that. I'll be announcing that next week. It'll be up for pre-order and all that fun stuff. Let's see. Any other? Oh yeah, people are saying they loved the video. We loved it. We loved
That's
it.
so
It's
nice.
amazing. It was really pretty. It was just very like, it felt very elegant.
It was classy. Like the
Yes.
second we got there, it was so classy. The dress was amazing.
Thank you. I love a good costume. So
Piano, just a great
Yes.
grand piano. You can't beat it.
you
We had an
cannot.
amazing string quartet. It's the loveliest people. And
They
yeah, it's just
were.
like the lighting. When you've got a nice room, you don't need to do like I was kind of used to our original music video, which was like so exciting and had all these aspects to it. But like just like get a nice little setup and play an acoustic song and it just turns out beautiful. Like what do you know?
Right? And sometimes I'm reminded every once in a while, like I got in such a habit of making these videos that were just like over the top and extraordinary. I love that. I love theatricality, but then I remind myself sometimes that simplicity sometimes is like just as effective in a totally
Yeah.
different way. And so yeah, it's been a good reminder to do like a couple videos in this last year that were just like clean and simple, and it's like, ah, yes, this can be beautiful too. I don't have to hide behind all the production and special effects. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
um,
somebody asked if I saw your League of Legends music video.
Oh!
We got to talk about this.
yes,
So, for those that don't know, I've been writing music for them for maybe like 5 or 6 years now, and I write, a lot of songs for them, including their world's anthems each year. And so they had approached you to do a medley, and I remember you calling, like, "What do I do? Like, what songs should I pick?" Like, because they were just kind of like, "Here's all of the songs you can use any of." And
Yes.
so I heard about this before, and then we didn't talk while doing it all, and then it came out this medley video for Wild Rift that was amazing. It was so good, by the way. I just need to say that publicly. I
Thank
loved
you.
it.
Thank you.
And it was so trippy to see Lou. We're like promoting Lose You Now as she's doing a medley of songs that I wrote for League of Legends. It was just like all the units connecting.
Right.
And then I told you this before the stream where Wild Rift is their new game came out with. It's like League of Legends, but like sort of a mobile, smaller version. And I've been like totally hooked on it since your video came out. I saw you
Yes.
make the medley and I was like, oh, let me download this. And now I'm just like plugged in like crazy. So there you
That is amazing. Yeah, it was so funny because I think I texted you the night I was like making the medley, and I was just like, I've been literally listening to your music for the last like 6 hours as I've been writing this medley and learning it, and like, because also Mako sings on a lot of them. So not only was I listening to the songs you wrote, but I was like listening to your voice and like trying to like figure out how to make this arrangement for like hours. So yeah, and it
You
was.
crushed it.
Oh, thank
Those
you.
arrangements are hard. Like people don't realize, I mean, like in DJ world, we call them like mashups, but like when you're mashing up like so many songs that are from different flows and different keys, it's like this big puzzle that you have to like map out on the board. Like I want to get to Legends by here, and by this time I want to get here. So how do I cross there in a way that makes sense? And you nailed it. Like it was so good.
Thank you. That is the perfect way to describe it too. And I think that's why I enjoy making medleys, because it feels like a puzzle, like a riddle you're trying to solve. And I don't know, I just find it so fun. And in a way, it always takes me a little bit back to my roots, because those were my first ever like
Right.
public videos I ever did were like, mashups of game songs. And so, it's like, ooh, it took me back to like the Zelda days and stuff. And again, Steven Anderson, the same guy that did the acoustic version of Lose You Now, he did the string like orchestra arrangement on that one.
Beautiful.
because he is I always call him my wizard. He's magic. Um, well, let's see. Unless there are any other questions, I mean, we've been streaming for an hour, just shooting the breeze and chatting. So I
Have we
just
really? Oh, look at that.
right, I know. Oh, Jess is telling me I need to show the merch again.
Oh, you already did.
Oh, I did already. Well, here, I'll just show it again in case anyone missed it. I'm actually really excited about these. These are the new merch pieces for Lose You Now, which is pretty freaking cool. I've never had a merch design for a single song, so super exciting. And let's see. I think someone asked funny stories from recording, and I actually have one. One thing that was funny is so there are certain keys for people that don't know that are great for violin. There are keys that are okay, and then there are keys that are just downright awful for the violin. It like makes you have to go into this like crunched half position. It's just uncomfortable. It doesn't sound good. And so when I heard this song, I was
Oh,
like,
that sounds awful. Who would ever do that?
who would do that to somebody? And so it was funny because I heard the arrangement that, Mako made, and I just kind of assumed it must have been in the same key as the original song. And then I literally go to record it, and I was like, this is a different key. And he picked one of the forbidden keys, like one of the awful keys. And I was like immediately so annoyed. I was like, oh!
I felt so bad. And because it also with now it was because I couldn't quite hit the original one. It was just at like a half step too high. But a lot of times I just like the feel of playing like keys with a lot of flats or sharps, just because like it just feels good on the fingers, and it's just like I like the color of it all. And then every single time I forget when we work with string players or anything that it's just like the session and they're like, who the hell did this? And you're like, oh no, I forgot again.
Oh, we hate it. And it was really funny because when the other string players showed up that were in the music video, I was like, how about that key, huh? And they were like, yes, who picked this key? And I'm like, he did. He picked it. But I totally understand. It's like your voice, we have to like, cater to the voice.
Yeah, we cater to my needs, not yours.
I am like, oh gosh, when we do have to play this live, I'm gonna have to like really.
Yeah, no, we'll figure something out.
We're gonna have to figure something out, or I'll just have to really, I'll just have to do the classic practice. Just put your bootstraps on, Lindsay, and practice the darn thing. So, someone calls it the devil's key. What is it? Is it E flat that it's in, or?
I can't remember. So yeah, I think we're in like G flat actually. I mean,
ew.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It's either G flat or A flat. I don't know. It starts B minor.
Awful.
Yeah. No. It sounds lovely.
It sounds horrible. But I will say a lot of singers like these keys because I remember it was the same thing. A lot of the collaborations I'm asked to do, they'll send me the songs, and I'm like, shoot, it's in the forbidden key. Like singers love those keys, probably for the same especially singers that play piano. Like the song I did with Amy Lee, same thing. I was like, oh, it's in a horrible key, but you just we violinists.
Was that me again? Did I push us in that key?
No, sorry, not the one we did. We put it in a nice key. I did a collab on her album like
sweet
a year before that, and I remember they sent it over, and I was like, and she's like, I want you to shred, and I was like, oh gosh, how can I shred in this key? But lots of practice made it work. So not Prism Sterling, not the forbidden key. A sharp minor is also pretty terrible. Yeah, A sharp minor is G flat.
Yep.
So
major. Yeah.
You nailed it.
Or sorry, no, D flat major. Wow, I'm just losing my chops here.
I know, my theory is actually pretty awful. C flat major is the worst for violin. Yes, it is terrible. So I guess you didn't pick.
Also, it just looks bad. I mean, we don't like read sheet music as much anymore. In what we like, C flat just looks atrocious. It's not a fun thing on the eyes.
It's terrible. You look at the key signature and it's like black on the side because it's got so many sharps. You're like, no. Someone's asking, do you like Alan Walker? I love Alan Walker. Are you a fan of Alan Walker?
Yeah, I've actually worked with him a couple of times. We had him come and do a remix of Legends Never Die at League of Legends. And so I became buddies with him in China when we performed it. And then I like flew out to Oslo because he's got a really cool studio in Norway, and I worked with his team out there. And then
Oh,
we went to we performed the song at Coachella because he performed at Coachella, I want to say 3 years ago now. And
dang.
so I came out and performed with him there, and he's just like the sweetest guy ever. He's so nice.
Really? Oh my gosh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
he's
you guys were like best friends.
no, not best friends or anything, but just like when, especially like when you're when you're making music like in somebody's life a lot. So it's just like one period where we just kept bumping into each other and hanging out. It's like really cool. He was great.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good to hear. Because yeah, I love his music. It's just so I went through a definitely like an Alan Walker stage where like that was on my all my playlists. It was what I worked out to.
Alan
Um,
Walker, Lindsey Stirling collab. That's what I'm saying.
boom, doing it. I'll
We'll just put it out there.
tweet it. Yeah, I'm gonna manifest it. I'm gonna start writing it every night in my little manifestation journal. Um, okay, what kind of cereal do you eat?
I don't eat cereal anymore. I mean, as a
Yeah,
kid, I was full on cinnamon toast crunch. Actually,
great.
let me drop a little something for you 'cause I don't know how many. I'm sure this audience is all younger than me, but there was this one year where Rice Krispies made Rice Krispie treat cereal. Do you remember this?
Yes, it was so
It,
good.
it was like this tiny box. I mean, must have been only like 3 bowls of cereal in it, and it cost like 2 times as much as anything else. And it was just clumps of Rice Krispie treats out, and you pour milk in it, and it was the dream. I mean, life did not.
Yes.
I peaked there, and ever since it's just been me trying to live in the
Oh,
glory of that.
yeah, I that was like the end all be all of cereal for me, and I don't know why they stopped making it. Maybe moms across the country like revolted or something, but it was so good. I know exactly what you're
It
talking
must have
about.
been terrible. I mean, there's a reason they probably took it off the shelf. Also, I love saying Rice Krispie treat cereal, and Twitch chat just like explodes. Like
Yeah.
everybody's just like getting in on this.
Yes, they remember. They know. Yeah, I see a lot of people also liking your cinnamon toast crunch cereal obsession. That's a good one.
What are
I
you eating?
I'm a little strange, and I genuinely mean I like it. I love wheat checks. Mmm, so
Oh
good.
yeah, yeah.
They're like
I'm trying.
hearty, and they're like you gotta let the milk make them soggy. Oh, Tasha's giving me a loser. Excuse me. Um, you let the milk make them slightly soggy. Wow, did you hear that? I said slightly soggy. I was so excited. And then you put a little bit of liquid stevia in there so it sweetens it up. Farther a
Yeah,
nerd.
sure.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay, I'm done. Everybody, I'm just ashamed.
It's just like no.
Not even a single comment in the chat saying, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
somebody asked what my favorite song of yours is. Can we talk about how much I loved, oh, what was it called when we did the Cherry Blossom?
Oh, Between Twilight was the one you were talking
Oh
about.
my gosh, I started listening to that every day, multiple times a day after we had that. And I remember like texting you, like, stop listening to this. And you're like, I can't tell if you're just messing with me or if you were serious. And I was like, no, I love it so much.
Oh, so you have a fairy spirit. That song was
That's
written
right.
about like fairies in the forest. So yes, yeah.
Like woodland fantasy, anything is just the key to my heart. Like that was we were recording it, and I think I was like playing keys on this thing, and I'm like, what is this piece? I love this.
Oh, thank you. That one, I will say, you know how like you have different songs that are favorites for different reason that you've written. For some
Totally.
reason, that one is my favorite melody I've ever written. Like I just love the sweet melody of it. So thank you. I'm glad you liked that one. And I'm glad we're kindred fairy spirits.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna go listen to it after this stream. So
As you're like working out, pumping iron, listening
exactly,
to
I
Between
do
Twilight.
listen to weird music because I run at night, and I just love that. And people are like, oh,
Oh,
what do you listen to? And it's just like really chill electronic music that's really like pretty and interesting. Like, how do you get pumped for that? Like, that's not exciting music at all, but for some reason, it just does it for me.
hey, if it works. Running
Yep.
at night, that's interesting.
I don't know why. Like, I just really feel my like imagination and my inspiration juices just start flowing at night, like
Mhm.
running around outside. And I like really like it. And everybody's like, "Are you insane?" Because sometimes it's hard to fall towards naturally. But
Right, right. Huh.
so
Yeah, I'm definitely a morning. If I don't work out in the morning, it's not gonna happen. Like,
yep.
so, and blue violin is saying you're very brave to run at night. Very.
Yeah. I mean, I have gotten kicked 16 times, but you know, beyond that, it's a good workout.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for jumping on and streaming with me today. This was super fun. If you guys haven't checked it out, you have to go see the brand new acoustic music video for Lose You Now. And stay tuned because very soon we will be announcing updates on tour when that's happening and all the details. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
I just want to also say thank you so much for having me, and thanks to everybody for being so nice and for welcoming me, and just for letting me be a part of this process. And Lose You Now is like a thing. So I'm just so happy that the video's out. You guys all rule. And yeah, thank you.
awesome. Well, you guys can also go follow Mako on it's Mako at on all the socials, right?
Yeah, it's Mako, ITS
Oh,
Mako.
it's Mako. Okay. So yeah, follow, support, subscribe, all the things, and yeah, thanks everybody for joining. I'll see you soon. I'll be doing another practicing stream in the next few days here, so I'll let you know on Instagram when I'll be doing that. And until then, love y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.